Good morning and happy Tuesday, folks. Okay, so I'm a little bit late to the party here, but I should probably explain what my low is. My low is I'm a little late to the party here in regards to this new game show called the 1% Club. I gotta be honest, I love that show. I'm only sorry I didn't start watching it sooner. I mean, it is on pretty late, and normally when I see my folks every day, I like to get here pretty early, but again, it's on at like 9 o'clock. Like, seriously, I stayed till like pretty much the show was over. And let's just say I got to bed pretty late because of it. So, not necessarily the greatest use of my time, but, you know, it's a great show. Then again, you have Pat Oswalt, who's one of my favorite comedians, so who's hosting the show. So, naturally, I find it appealing. Actually, that reminds me, let me just look up something real fast. I haven't heard anything. I'm not looking up anything that, okay, never mind. I know I have a Hot Ones guest reveal to do, so I wasn't looking that up. I was looking up to see if there was another show. I basically wanted to see if there was a new episode after midnight, but there wasn't. So I guess they're taking, they took all last week off, and I guess they're taking off this week because it's a holiday week. Makes sense. Right, so my low is I didn't start watching the 1% Club sooner. My high is in a pleasantly surprising turn of events. I got to see my nephews, got to play with them. It was a lot of fun. I got to watch them, and I don't know. It's not that I get mixed emotions from seeing I love my nephews. It's just, I've talked about this before. I want to be a dad someday. I want to have kids someday. That'd be nice. It's just, sometimes I'm a little sad that, I don't have any kids right now. But that doesn't mean I'm not hopeful, someday it's going to happen. But I got to see my nephews. In fact, actually, one of my acts of kindness was helping my mom watch my nephews, as well as also emptying the dehumidifier for my folks. So, I got stuff done. Now, without further ado, let's move on to this week's Hot Ones guest. Let's see. Actually, hold on. This should be the 20th guest of 2024? I think so. Yeah, I think it's the 20th Hot Ones guest of 2024. Let me just look it up real fast. No, I'm wrong. It'd be the 22nd Hot Ones guest of 2024. Yeah. So the 22nd Hot Ones guest of 2024, would be, I believe it's also the 7th guest of season 25. I don't know, the point is, oh, no way. Oh, no way. That is, it's been 5 years since the good folks over at First Week Feast and Hot Ones had an episode premiering on the 4th of July. Again, because it's a leap year, the next time the 4th of July is on Thursday, it would technically be sooner. And I remember they got Adam Devine for that episode. I remember watching that episode very clearly. So naturally, since it's July 4th, you gotta have someone pretty big, pretty grandiose, pretty, someone that you're gonna remember forever. And, they got somebody good here. In fact, I'm just going to cut right to the chase. It's Serena Williams. Serena Williams is going to be on Hot Ones this Thursday, July 4th. I mean, what do you want me to say? It's Serena freaking Williams. Listen. It'd be easy for me to say that Serena Williams is, the greatest tennis player of all time. And I do mean tennis player, not women's tennis, not men's tennis, just tennis. Okay, overall, she is the greatest of all time. I've heard some people make the argument that Serena Williams is the greatest athlete of all time. In fact, I do believe her husband at one of her recent tennis matches, literally wore a shirt that said, greatest tennis player of all time, question mark, but then greatest tennis player was crossed out, and that means that, no, greatest athlete of all time. Yeah, I'll buy that. I mean, is anyone going to argue with this? Because I'm not. That does remind me, I never did see the movie King Richard. In fact, I do believe that that's how Will Smith did get his Oscar, even though a certain thing that happened at the Oscars that same year happened regarding him. But from what I hear, it was a good movie, and I'm very certain that both Serena and Venus had their say in, why that movie was so good. Actually, let me just look up something about Serena Williams real fast. Because I do believe she has, 30 plus titles or something. Okay, 42 years. Okay. Okay, this is literally just her list of career achievements. Let's see. These are just the ones where she stands alone. For the Australian Open, 7 women's singles titles, as well as 8 finals overall in 14 years between the first and last title. As well as 92 match wins. For the French Open, it would be 13 years between first and last title, 14 years between the first and last final. Let's see. For Wimbledon, it'd be 3 women's singles titles after the age of 30, which back in the day, a professional tennis player played until they were about 30, and then they were done. And she's 42 right now, so there you go. Well, I think she's retired. 14 years between first and last title. She stands alone as the winner of singles titles in 3 decades for the U.S. Open. Let's see. 108 match wins, U.S. Open. 15 years between first and last title, U.S. Open. 20 years between first and last final, U.S. Open. Won as U.S. Open Series champion multiple times. And 3 women's singles titles at the age of 30. Yeah. Those are just the things she stands alone in. Her list of achievements is even great. Her entire career spans just more than this. I mean, listen. In the world of sports, there are people that you simply don't bet against. You don't bet against Michael Jordan. You don't bet against Tom Brady. I personally would never bet against Dana White. You put Serena Williams in that category. You just do. I mean, I'm pretty sure Serena's retired right now, so, I mean, yeah, you can't really, you could say that. I mean, again, since she's retired, she doesn't play anymore, it doesn't really necessarily apply to her. But the fact that you can say that means that she is, you know, she's great. And the fact that she's on Hot Ones, right, this week, I mean, listen, it'd be easy just to speculate that Sean's just going to ask her nothing but tennis-related questions, but I'm sure there's much more to it than that. Like, I mentioned King Richard earlier. I'm sure Sean's going to ask her regarding behind-the-scenes stuff. I mean, you'd have to. I mean, it's a movie essentially about, like, her. I mean, yeah, I know the movie is about the title. Her dad's name is the title. And, you know, Will Smith obviously made a great performance out of that. In fact, when Will Smith was on Hot Ones just a couple weeks ago, he said, like, when it comes to 4 performances you need to watch Will Smith do, one of them is King Richard. So obviously that movie did highlight Will Smith's acting, but it also brought to light just the upbringing of Venus and Serena Williams. And I'm certain that they both had a part in making that movie as good as it was. So, yeah, man. Serena Williams. Actually, let me just look up one other thing. Hold on. Oh, yeah. I forgot she technically has a filmography. I forgot she was in. You know what? I forgot she was in Avatar: The Last Airbender. She was in there for like 5 seconds, maybe more, and she was talking to Iroh when he was in prison. That's about all she did, though. Well, obviously she did more. She did okay, what other shows has she been on? Well, she played herself on The Simpsons, which, I mean, come on, it's The Simpsons. Everyone's a guest star on that show. She's played herself in reality shows like America's Next Got Talent, The Bernie Mac Show, rest in peace, Bernie Mac. Ocean's 8 as a cameo. She was an executive producer of King Richard. Okay. She played herself in the movie Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. And apparently she was in the Paw Patrol movie that just came out last year. I'm looking at her filmography right now. Obviously there's a lot more stuff, but I'm just looking over the things that people might actually know. Gosh. This is quite fascinating. So I am super excited about this week's episode of Hot Ones. Man, Serena Williams, my God. I mean, I'm pretty sure every tennis player and their grandma is going to probably watch this episode just because of Serena Williams. I mean, I'm certainly going to watch, but not just because I like Serena Williams, but also I'm a Hot Ones fan. I mean, tennis is one of those sports, where the only reason I do watch is because someone's hogging the remote and they like tennis. Like, there have been times I've been watching TV with my mom, excuse me, and she had the remote, and she only just got big into what, I mean, after her, I believe it was her knee surgery a couple of years ago, that's when she started getting really big into tennis. And my aunt actually turned her on to it because when my aunt was visiting, she was watching tennis, and so they both started watching. In fact, my mom, with both of her sisters, my aunts, they went to the U.S. Open in New York. So, needless to say, my mom is definitely a tennis fan. And, because I actually have seen, watch bits and pieces of, the U.S. Open. And, architecturally speaking, they had to have put a lot of work into making the stadiums. So, from wherever you're sitting, you have a somewhat decent view of what's going on the actual tennis court. I mean, nowadays you got jumbotrons and cameras and stuff, so you could probably watch from wherever you're sitting and get a good view regardless. But you go to football games and stuff like that, where it's giant stadium seating. It's surprising how decent the views are. At least provided that you don't get an obstructed view seat, which, those things happen. But I haven't really seen any problems with that in tennis matches. So, I don't know, just food for thought. Oh, but also, it's surprising how big a lot of people are into tennis. I think it was the last U.S. Open that I watched with my mom. KD was there. Kevin Durant there? Cool. I love KD. I mean, I know KD keeps getting injured, but when he's healthy, I can make the case he's the best player in the NBA. I mean, I'm not going to get into that debate. I mean, right now, I'd rather just give the flowers to the double J's, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, because, the Boston Celtics won, which, I don't think I gave the Boston Celtics their flowers yet. No, it's a little late, but to the Boston Celtics, congratulations on a well-earned title. You definitely steamrolled all your competition. I still would have liked to see you guys play against the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. I think you guys would have had a better matchup against them than you did against the Pacers, but injuries, what can you do? Although, from what I hear, the Celtics are destined to win it all next year. Maybe we'll get you know what? I hope we get the Knicks, Celtics, Eastern Conference Final we should have gotten this year, next year. Only time will tell. But for now, let's focus on the present. It's July 2nd. Serena Williams is going to be in Hot Ones on Thursday. And you know what? Before I sign off, I have to say, it was on this day 8 years ago that my brother and his wife had gotten married. I'm not going to get too over emotional. In fact, I will be honest. That whole day, I personally remember feeling quite miserable. But the one thing that was good about that day, the most beautiful thing I ever saw in my entire life up to that point, was the union between, again, my brother and his wife. So, happy anniversary, guys. I love you. I'll be seeing you at some point later this week, possibly today. And now I can sign off. I hope you like this video. Like, subscribe, YouTube channel, my social media is always under. Help me this video for you guys watching. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. Remember, if you guys want to talk to me, be here to let me know you're back. Take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby.